Radio Flyer is a cat that came into our shelter one day a few months ago. We were back in the intake department and we saw this little girl in the parking lot dragging a toy wagon behind her. And we're like, oh no, what's this? She comes up the ramp with her little wagon behind her and she presents me with a note from her mom. And the note says that her mother had witnessed the cat being thrown from a moving car the previous night.
When Radio Flyer came in, he was very obese. He's about 20 pounds. Other than that, he appeared to be a normal cat. But once we did the exam, we noticed that he had severe dental disease and he had an infection in his mouth, which required several extractions. And he ended up with his jaw being wired, which required him to be in foster for a significant amount of time.
The Second Chance program was invaluable for Radio Flyer's care. We're able to do more dental work, spend the time to go in and get the teeth cleaned, do teeth extractions if we need to, as well as put money into the medications that they need, the antibiotics, the pain medications, and also helps us take care of them during that time while they're recuperating.
He did catch my eye. There was really nothing special about his look. It's his personality. And he looks at you and paws at you and just starts purring. And now in my office, when I'm doing work, he just lays next to my phone and waits for me to pay attention to him and just looks at me as if he's saying thank you.
Our community, right from the little girl who rolled Radio Flyer up to the back door of the APL to bring him in so that he could get a second chance, to our entire community that's supporting the Second Chance program, is making a difference.
The Second Chance program has helped us treat and care for and adopt out more animals. It has expanded for us our definition of adoptable, which we love.
There is a lot of individualized care being provided and a lot of passion going into the work we're doing. So we are incredibly grateful to our supporters.
Baker is a young pointer mix dog. I was working the intake counter when he came into us. A man came up our intake ramp carrying a cardboard box. I was not prepared for what was in the box. It was a dog lying on his side, and he just looked awful, just awful. He was just a rack of bones covered in his own waste, sores all over, and barely breathing. The man said that this was his dog, who he claimed had run away about a month ago. He said that the previous night the doorbell had rung in the middle of the night and he'd come downstairs and found the dog in a box on his porch. And the dog was in such poor condition. The guy brought the dog to us. At one point I was actually concerned that the dog had died on the counter. And I kind of frantically was scratching him behind the ears trying to see if he was still with us. And he opened his eyes and he was like, I'm still here. And I went and got the vet, and I was like, you need to see this dog right now.
He was so thin, emaciated. He had some rags tied to his legs, which looked like they were trying to do something medically. We didn't exactly find out what they were for, but by the time we had gotten to him, his paws had started to swell from where these rags were. He was very, very much out of it. He would slightly lift his head, severely dehydrated. We took some blood work, we fed him. He had several sores. So we had put him on antibiotics for those. We gave him a dewormer. We gave him fluids a couple times a day. I was a little bit worried about him staying in the APL overnight without having somebody there to take care of him. And we had an excellent volunteer veterinary technician student who said, I'll take him home. I'll do whatever I can.
He was just really bad. He didn't seem to focus on anything. He had no life. He just hung his head, and it was a very horrible case. And as soon as I saw him, my heart went out to him, and I ended up bringing him home and fostering him for a while until I adopted him. He was a good boy. Baker is full of life, we'll say. He's very energetic. He eats constantly. He gets along great with the other dogs and with my son.
Sit, Baker. Sit. Good boy.
Baker has become such a big part of our family. I think it was 13 pounds when we brought him home. We had to hand feed him and basically clean up after him constantly. I mean, he had no sense of where he was or even what it was to be a dog. So watching him grow and get life back has just been wonderful for us to see that. He's just become such an integral part of our life. It's almost hard to imagine that he hasn't been here longer.
If that dog had not come into us when he did, he probably would have starved to death. And so to see Baker, such an awesome companion to the woman that adopted him, without the Second Chance program, he would not have her and she would not have him.